In the heart of the vast Amazon, the sound of trucks and excavators has replaced the sounds of the forest. This southern summer, a colossal construction site has resumed work after years of interruption. The building of the BR-319 highway. It's been promised many times by successive governments, and Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has finally pledged to complete it. It's the pride of Orlando Fanaya, the chief engineer.
Hello, how are you? Here you can see we're applying the first layer of asphalt on these first 2 kilometers under construction. It's the first paving operation after 15 years of waiting. We're finally restarting the asphalting of BR-319.
They have to move quickly. His team has only a few short weeks of dry season to pave this 50-kilometer section. More than 200 men work along the route under 40-degree heat, laying tons of gravel and asphalt brought in by boat for the modest sum of 1.5 million euros per kilometer, an unprecedented figure. All this, however, without any new authorization from the Ministry of the Environment. But that doesn't seem to worry them much.
Of course, this road will have an impact, but we've carried out numerous studies to minimize it. We've requested the creation of 22 environmental reserves along the highway, and we're complying with all the Ministry of the Environment's regulations.
Where there's road traffic, there's control. That's a guarantee of protecting nature. It'll let firefighters move more easily to put out forest fires. We need to send this message to the whole world. The road is precious to us, not just for the north region, but for all of Brazil.
It's a promise that dates back to the 1970s, when the military dictatorship wanted to develop this so-called Brazilian Far West, long deemed inaccessible. 885 kilometers of road have been traced between the cities of Manaus and Porto Velho, cutting straight through the Amazon jungle. Abandoned multiple times due to a lack of political will or environmental authorizations, this long, straight stretch of dirt track, battered by the harshest weather, is considered one of the most dangerous roads in the country. Accidents on it are ever more spectacular.
Nossa, que dó. Mas tá tudo bem? Alguém se machucou, não?
And its motorists ever more exasperated.
I've been traveling for 5 days. I've spent 5 days on this road.
Because of the rain?
We just kept getting stuck in the mud. If the road were paved, everything, goods, food, petrol, would be cheaper.
We can't take it anymore. We've been waiting all day just across the river. It's not possible. This road is a disgrace.
We're suffering too much. It's up to the politicians to find a solution.
But where the road passes, this long-awaited development takes on a strange twist. All around us, for the first 300 kilometers, there are pastures stretching as far as the eye can see. But the further the BR-319 advances, the more we discover hectares of freshly burned forest. Since the announcement of the roadworks resumption in 2019, deforestation in the region has exploded, up by 144%, triggering a wave of land speculation. And a massive influx of cattle ranchers from the south, like Jaimundo.
Did you cut down the forest recently?
Yes, I cleared it all. I needed pasture so I could bring my cattle from the south.
And your cattle are further away?
Yes, over there. I've got 42 hectares. The land here belongs to no one.
So this isn't a forest protected by the law?
No, otherwise the authorities would never have given us the papers. Right, we paid and got the documents.
And yet, the BR-319 lies right in the heart of ancestral territory, that of the Mura people. They weren't consulted as required by law before the road construction began. For more than 10 years, this young indigenous leader has been organizing the resistance.
3 years ago, this was still all forest. The presence of buffalo here worries us because they drive all the fish away from the river.
35 indigenous communities live near the road. Despite their requests, only 5 are officially recognized and protected by the law. With his group of activists, Gabriel is documenting the impacts and the pressures they face.
You're the residents who are most threatened by the farmers.
He came here and said that if our dogs continued to bother his livestock, then he would kill my husband.
We don't know what's going to happen to us.
An even greater danger than livestock farming looms over their territory: a mining company.
The company just bought all this land. They bought it from members of our people. They forced them, telling them if they didn't sell, they would lose it anyway because it was in the state's interest.
What's this for?
I think these are tools for measuring water levels for their preliminary studies. We know that this is the land they have chosen for their boreholes. We can see car tracks here.
In front of them lie several hundred hectares that were cleared just a few weeks ago.
This is where they're going to build a plant. I think that by locating it on a map and comparing it with their project, we will know where they're going to dump the mining waste.
Gabriel's GPS confirms his fears.
With our GPS markings, we'll be able to show that it's right in the heart of our territory.
What they covet in this soil is potassium, a fertilizer necessary for Brazil's powerful agribusiness to become self-sufficient in the product.
We know that potassium already exists in nature, but it will be mixed with other products to separate the potassium from the salt. And this salt will also be released into the environment and could make the river salty. The road will also facilitate the transport of extraction machinery, because it's certain that they won't be able to transport all the mining waste by river. The road will help to transport the minerals.
Abandoned by the authorities, the Mura people have an ally, Lucas Ferrante, a biology researcher at the University of Sao Paulo. He's received several death threats from the road's many supporters.
I would like us to go through the mouth of the 2 rivers.
Today, he and his team are setting off on an expedition for several weeks on one of the rivers that runs alongside the road.
We've added a collection point. We're taking security measures. The priority is not to be identifiable, especially by the gold miners and loggers in the region. So if anyone asks what we're doing there, we answer everything except that we're collecting biological samples.
In the midst of the COVID pandemic under Jair Bolsonaro's government, Lucas Ferrante had already denounced the use of the road, which had taken too long to transport oxygen to Manaus. This time, he's denouncing President Lula's intentions.
These are all oil drilling exploration areas under concession. This proves that if they want BR-319 so badly, it's to facilitate the arrival of oil companies. We've come to the conclusion that it's impossible to control deforestation along this road, and we've officially alerted the environmental police. The Department of Transportation is lying, and this is all part of a Machiavellian plan to pave this road regardless of the deforestation it causes.
In his sight is IBAMA, the Brazilian Environmental Protection Agency. Its deputy director rejects any responsibility for the BR-319. Quite the contrary.
Last year, we reduced deforestation by 28%, and this year you can see an 11% reduction. What we are seeing across the Amazon as a whole is a fairly significant decline in deforestation. We cannot treat one specific area as representing the whole, especially when regional states such as Amazonas also have their own responsibilities. IBAMA does not decide alone. This road is also the responsibility of many ministries that have a say and will give their opinion in due course.
Time is precisely what is sorely lacking. Back on the road, Igapoaçu is the last village before entering the still intact forest. For the past few days, the locals have been flocking under this covered area, but not to admire the view.
Are there cases of malaria here?
5.
A malaria epidemic has just broken out. For this nurse, the road is both the cure and the cause of the disease.
It's true that the road brings a lot of progress here, but it also brings other things. There is a significant flow of truck drivers coming from other southern states. They often sleep here and become carriers of malaria. The inhabitants are at risk of being infected.
Malaria, and recently a new strain of oropouche has just been discovered here, a virus transmitted by midges, the consequences of which are still unknown to researchers, like many other diseases here. This is precisely what Lucas Ferrante and his team have come to study, heading for the banks of the Purus River.
This is it.
The scientists have located sample collection points in the middle of the forest on both sides of the river.
When you pave a road, other adjacent roads are created. This is known as the fishbone phenomenon. We're talking about a forest with unique biodiversity that no one has ever accessed before, like the place we're in right now. This is very important because the pathogens present here can spread with the presence of the road, and our preliminary results show that this is in fact the largest reservoir of disease in the world.
They'll collect hundreds of soil and water samples here to compare them with the data collected during their previous mission a year ago.
I'm going in. We're going to sequence the DNA in the water as well as in the soil. We've discovered new strains of viruses, one very similar to anthrax, which has already been used as a biological weapon, and another similar to the plague. This means that if Lula's government decides to continue this work, it'll lead to a bioterrorist attack that would release these new pathogens into the environment and could lead to new pandemics.
The BR-319 is a symbol of opening up the region for its inhabitants. But at what cost? Whistleblower Lucas Ferrante hopes that this latest research will finally convince the authorities to halt the construction of the road.